Yo, GFO, rainy night in Boca with the one and only LeRoy. How we doing?
I'm happy to be here, man. Just trying to get through it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it feels good over here, man. You got a great introduction, great setup. I know we're gonna be outside for the first time, so
It's
feel
like
it's gonna open up.
it's definitely more intimate. The inside might just be the better move. It might have just been the right move to you to know, like,
Exactly.
make everybody feel comfortable and stuff.
I remember we've been planning this for a while. When did the conversations first start? Well,
maybe like
last
9 months
semester?
ago.
Sometime last semester.
Yeah, it was 9. It was around last semester where I think you heard the Before EP or seen like some of the trailers I did for it, and you were like, yo, y'all are doing business over there. Like, we got to make something happen, and like schedules and like just adulting, honestly, just kind of delayed that. But it's definitely good to be here, and it's definitely good to be in this space as well.
Cool. Well, I want to ask the first question. How's your mental? How's the headspace?
Hey, man.
How is it? I mean, you've been pouring all your emotions through the art, man. But I want to ask you. That's how I start out all of them.
For sure. I've been taking care of myself, trying to at least. Like, I find that I'm kind of like a method actor. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm making something really dark or really emotional, for better or for worse, I'm in that space as well. I'm mirroring what I'm creating. And like, I just recently learned that it's like, oh, you don't have to be in this space to like talk about the space you were in. You don't have to like go down that road again or subject yourself down that road again to be like, hey, I'm here now. Let me talk about it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, and kind of just relishing that. I'm still making good music. You know what I'm saying? Like, even working on the third EP now, and I'm still creating. And I never thought that I'd be able to create without having some sense of destruction there as well. You know what I mean? Like, I always thought that if I was creating, something had to be destroyed. Like, that's the cycle of life.
What are you talking about, this something?
It's just like, it could be anything, some part of yourself or like relationships. Like, I think in a lot of my music, in a lot of times in my life, like, I'll sabotage something so I have something to talk about. You know what I mean? And it's like, mind you, this is subconscious though. It's not like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's deep.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I'll think about it and I'll be like, oh, so this is what I was doing when I was doing this. Like, you're in this turmoil where you don't really know who you are, and you're trying to like figure it out. So I think as opposed to where I was when I made this upcoming project, night and day. It's a night and day difference. And I feel a lot better about myself. And I honestly feel a lot better about the people I'm around and the actions that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just surrounding myself with good people, good energy, good support, but it's also surrounding myself with people who just make me love life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When did you recognize that music and film was your creative outlet? And who are some of the people who are doing it right in the entertainment industry now?
Ooh. So I first took this field production class when I was at my state college, Eastern Florida State.
3-2-1.
Go Titans. Go
3-2-1.
Titans. You know, go Titans for sure.
Love that.
I like loved it. Like, I made my first video and I just had scenes pop in my head.
Okay.
Which is like a lot of the way I still do it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, with Trilogy, I had those scenes pop in my head and I was like, wow, this would be a really powerful scene. I just see it and I'm like, I can make that, you know? So when I first did the video, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was enjoying what I was doing. I was 19.
19.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was still a teenager. I definitely think that translating it to how I feel now and seeing who's doing it right in the industry now, gotta say my favorite director is Jordan Peele.
Good Will Hunting is my favorite movie of all time. You know why? Because I don't want to discredit it, but it was shot very amateur-like.
Yeah.
Like, I can literally see, okay, we're gonna have a coffee scene.
No, it was.
Have a scene right here,
For sure.
here, and then for them to sweep the awards that year, I'm just like, I can see us. I can see my friends.
The craziest thing about that movie though is that they wrote it in college. Like, in my head, that, like learning that fact, I was like, oh, I'm writing scripts.
You are.
Like I'm doing this, and like it can work out.
Yeah.
My crew behind me who's supportive. Say I'm like, yeah, maybe this all works out. Nah, they're like, nah, when it works out. And it's just like little things
what
like
is
that.
Manifestation. So Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Krister.
Well, we can talk more about Jordan Peele for a second. All right. So what is it about his style? His screenwriting ability, or is it the cinematography? What's your favorite element of his film?
I'd say it's probably mise-en-scenes.
What's that?
It's basically things that complement the picture. So technically, mise-en-scene would be these, right? Everything that makes cinematography a great picture.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Give me an example from the movie.
For example, he was in the cotton chair, right? Mise-en-scene would be everything that's behind him, like the buck, right? There's a buck on the wall because he ran over that deer in the first part. And then first scene, and then the dad was like, I hate deers. Like there's so many of them. He's talking about black people. So he has like a deer or a buck in his office.
How hard is it to get to those points when you're writing a film? Like, okay, is that like written in bold? Like, this is a big part of the movie.
That's something that has to be planned and executed. I don't think people realize how hard that is to do because you got to navigate it when you're writing it. You know what I'm saying? And then even with like Christopher Nolan films, like sometimes he leaves you on edge with a question. Like in the end of Inception where the dreidel's still spinning. It's like, is he in a reality or is he in a dream world? They're gonna ask Christopher Nolan, like, what was it? You know what I'm saying? What happened? And that's what I want with my films, where it's like open to interpretation, but you know, there's also an aspect of like there was a defined message and a concise message. So it's just like, I mean, what's your favorite film? I already know what it is.
I'm gonna say Good Will Hunting.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say The Great Gatsby. I watched that recently.
I like the book more. Okay, we were taking an AP Lit class.
Makes
I took
sense.
that class. All the pretty girls were taking AP.
Yeah.
I get in the class and I had to learn how to write at an elite level.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm missing gym class trying to learn how to write until we got to The Great Gatsby.
Right.
And you know, he throws parties trying to find Daisy. And at the time I was throwing parties trying to find Daisy.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like it's beautiful. So then when I saw the movie, I was like, well, I had in my head when I read the book.
Yeah, I haven't read the book. I just saw the movie. I'm not gonna lie.
It was spot on.
It was spot on.
Very spot on, bro. With the eyes always watching.
But it's like things like that in film, like the eyes are always watching. It's a motif. There's motifs in film. Even in The Great Gatsby, for example, there's this plot where you're chasing a love you'll never receive. The entire message of that, which is also a very similar message to Trilogy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always looking after that green light. And then as the movie goes and probably as the book goes, the green light vanishes. Right. And it's like there's this aspiration of hope.
All right, don't get me.
Dreams. Like there's an aspect of hopes and dreams. Right. He's like, I need this to survive. Like all this big house, these big parties.
Was for Daisy. That is beautiful.
It's crazy. And that's the same messages throughout Trilogy, where it's like, if you listen to the songs, because the songs are the score, you know what I mean? Amazing. One Last Time, Different in the Morning. Like, if you listen to the songs, it has that same type of yearnful behavior where it's like, I will forsake my own worth for this other person. Like, there's a lyric in the song where it's like, you saw my worth, we can find it again. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you can help me find how valuable I am to you. It's like, this is why I need you, because I don't know how valuable I am by myself. I need you to help me find it, because you saw it in me once before, which is pretty much what happened with Gatsby. Right. It's that same feel where it's like, I need you to find who I am again, because I had lost myself within you. You know what I mean?
So what's the solution for Gatsby?
I'd say that anybody who feels like sort of like that, solution is just finding that inner peace within yourself. It's really just finding out that you're worth more than forsaking yourself for another person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do it at your own pace, and you got to find your worth and find what you're valuable for. Because the part of your mind that protects you the most is anger. Like, anger usually dissolves into sadness, but that initial anger is your body telling you or your mind telling you, hey, you don't deserve this. And though it is destructive, it can be constructive at times when you read the signs and you realize why you're angry. This happened.
Right, go find the why.
Exactly.
Go find the why.
And then communicate the why.
That's tough.
You know what I'm saying? And then communicate it, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
Do you think that will always be this way? You know, like happy?
I mean, I hope so. If not, I'll always remember us this way, no matter what.
Once again, guys, we're talking to the one and only LeRoy. Thank you again for being here, bro.
Appreciate it.
Cool. I want to get into the next question, if that's cool.
Yeah, come on.
All right. So, can you explain to the people what Trilogy is and how you became so comfortable with putting out such a vulnerable art piece to the world?
Trilogy is kind of the story, right? It comes from a place of, again, like forsaking your own worth to find a different person, or not even to find a different person, to be with the person you want to be with, right? So like all of it's connected.
Yeah.
Like the first EP, Trilogy, the second EP, the third EP, they're all just a cohesive story. We have myself, I was 20 when I wrote the first EP. And I was feeling a lot of insecurity in the situation I was in. We have songs like Home, which is being insecure in a relationship. But it's not insecure where it's like, she's doing this, she's doing that. It's insecure, like, what is my worth to you? What is my value to you? And when you go to songs like Down is just about codependency, where it's like when I fall down, don't leave me. Like my ship is sinking. I get really down on myself and I don't know my own value as a person. And in that song, I was just like, don't leave me when I fall. Because it's bound to happen. Like history repeats itself.
You were very dependent on that connection, that bond. Were you able to portray that through Trilogy? Were you able to express that amount of emotion through film? Because that's complex. This is not just a usual high school heartbreak.
So it's like when looking at those songs, like again, Bright, Home, and Down, where all of these complex emotions are going on, that leads us to Trilogy. Mm-hmm. You know, you have these visceral, vivid images in these songs, and I wanted to visually portray that in Trilogy. Like, okay, so if you watch Trilogy alone, it's those three songs, different parts of those three songs, right? Again, One Last Time, Different, and then The Morning. Really what we see in connecting those two is the end of phase one. You know what I mean? Where
so you're saying we got more coming up?
Plenty more coming up. It takes time to tell, or it took me time at least to figure out how to produce, to figure out how to make movies and make it on a scale where I felt comfortable sharing it to other people. You know what I mean? And I really needed the space to figure out how I felt. I needed space to process, because not only could I not feel anything, but I couldn't communicate how I felt. You know, because how can I tell you how I feel if I don't even know how I feel? Like I gotta figure this out.
I gotta figure it out. Yeah.
And I always did that through writing. Trilogy's kind of just the interpretation of the failure of a relationship for both sides. Mm. You know what I mean? And to really see it and look at it from an outside view of like, okay, there are things I did wrong, which is where we come in with the second EP, where it's like I admit what I did wrong.
There you go.
You know,
that's
gonna
be a vulnerable album.
Oh, absolutely. It's probably one of my most vulnerable projects to date. Wow. And that's why I love it. Like I have a really great appreciation for the second EP because of the place I was in. I obviously never want to be there again, but like it was so visceral where it's like this was raw, but this was beautiful, and I made something beautiful out of that pain. And like if you listen to it all in order and watch Trilogy, it sets you up for what the second EP is going to be like.
Okay. My favorite part of your films is the film score. During your creative process, do you create the music first, or do you make the film based off of the music?
So, very interesting question, because it came in 2 phases. So like I already had the songs One Last Time, Different, in the Morning written, but I hadn't produced them yet. So I produced them. I produced the songs whole as itself first. And then the idea for the film came off the songs, because I was like, these songs play off of each other. It is literally like a mini story within this big picture story I'm trying to tell about my life. And like, I was talking on the phone with one of my friends, Jake, and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about releasing these 3 singles, you know, in preparation for the second EP. He was like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, I'm thinking about doing like a 30-second teaser video for each and then like dropping them. And he was like, why don't you just shoot a movie? And I was like, nah, like I can't do that. And he's like,
that's a good friend,
right? He did do that, and he pushed me to do challenges and better me. And he was like, why don't you just shoot a movie? And I was like, nah, man, I can't shoot a movie. Like, it's too much. You know what I'm saying? I gotta write a script. He was like, yo, you have the lights, like you have the camera, you can produce, you can do, yeah, like you have a studio. And it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? And just like producing the songs first gave me where I was gonna go with the score.
You do that at an elite level, bro. The music scores.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
I'm telling
that,
you, we were on the phone talking about it, but it's a Billie Eilish comparison, bro. How they were able to utilize her in that 007. Her vocal ability was like a whistle in the movie.
Yeah,
that gave off hints. So hearing you in the background of your own, you know, film is that's amazing, bro. Not too many people are doing that.
Like I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate you for catching that as well, because I wanted the film to be vulnerable, and I wanted it to feel like you were inside my head, along like the same way you're inside my head when you listen to the songs.
Wow. You do a good job creating an experience with music, bro. Even
again, I appreciate that.
The first songs you were sending, I played it on the speakers, and I was just like, okay, what was that? That's not a tight beat.
That's,
you know,
different.
I'm feeling it. So
that's a LeRoy beat right there.
Yeah, that's amazing, bro. That's a true gift. So you got to push that, bro. That's one of your. If we were talking about basketball, that's your spot.
Right.
That's your go-to. So when it comes to that category, don't hold back at all, bro.
Hey, I appreciate that. I genuinely do, because like a lot of people don't know how connected film and music are.
Right. I love that.
You can't have film without music. You can have music without film, but film enhances the music so much.
Right.
So it's like when it comes to Trilogy, like I want that experience to be enhanced so much where you cry. You know what I'm saying? You feel it in your chest. You're watching it and you're just like, ooh, it's making you uncomfortable. And that's the area where I want to live in, where it makes people uncomfortable because they're feeling something they've never felt before.
Amazing.
Where it's like, okay, one last time you forsake your worth. Different is where it actually happens. And then you realize it. You know, you realize it while it's happening, and it's like, okay, this is happening to me. Like I got taken advantage again. Right. And then in the morning, it's that emptiness. It's that like regret, shame on yourself for letting it happen.
Right.
But it's like she's also gone. So there's a heartbreak there. And I wanted to visually showcase those emotions and the path in which those emotions took place. And then also have you hear those emotions and be in that moment and be present in those complex emotions.
Wow. Not too many people are taking that level of care into their art.
Have to.
That's the separation, bro.
It's there.
Yeah.
And I want people who listen to my music or people who watch the films, I want them to be one with the experience. I want you to feel as closely as I felt in this situation. Like, yeah, people can say it's dramatic. People can say it's exaggerated, but that's how my emotions are. Like, I feel a lot. I may not be able to show it. I may not be able to express it all the time, but I feel a lot.
No pun intended, but I feel that. I feel that.
You know,
seriously, I do feel a lot. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
But it's like, even with saying that, you know, like, I want to create a community where Black men can feel, and not only feeling like, oh yeah, I'm sad, but feel exactly what that feeling is. Like, I'm not just sad. Like, I can't go anywhere. I am crushed that this girl broke my heart. I can't talk to anybody about it. You know what I mean? Like, I want this space, this community, not only for Black men, but for also everybody, to feel whatever they need to feel. And going through these EPs, going through this story, I felt virtually every emotion on the human scale. With that being said, it's the story of my life almost, where it's just like, okay, I went through a heartbreak. You know, the before EP, I didn't really know where I stood in this situation. I don't know what I bring to you that you want me, and I'm easily replaceable. You know, I didn't feel like I was lovable at the time. You know what I mean? I didn't know that I could care for a person that as much as I did. And not only did I not know it, I didn't know how to show it either. So I'm sure there's time where that person in that situation felt like I didn't care enough, or that it didn't matter that she was there. But it did. Though I couldn't show it, it did, you know?
I think Drake has that line on Who Told You? He's like,
Hey.
Just because I'm not jealous doesn't mean I don't care.
Exactly.
I feel that. Like, I'm not finna be all that, but
Exactly.
I'm locked
but like,
in.
I'm here.
I'm locked in, full speed.
Exactly.
Wow,
and like
amazing.
that kind of with the before EP, that's where I was at. And then we're going from there to the heartbreak. And then we see Trilogy. Trilogy's the breakup where it breaks off. The second EP is the result of that breakup, where it's like, we're going through this story, we're going through these emotional escapes. What can I figure out? What can I learn about myself and reflect on now? Not only can it make me a better writer, but a better person. Because like, I look at the mistakes I made at that time, and I look at who I was as a person, and it's not like I don't like that person, because that person made me who I am today.
Dude, I love how the art can expose you a little bit.
It makes the chest hurt, you know? It makes the chest hurt. And
I guess that's the reward you get for being vulnerable
exactly
to the world, that you're learning at a high clip.
Exactly. It's like, to me, I think the vulnerability of the EPs, it's almost at a cost, because people know your story.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's like, but
that's what makes you a rock star, though. It's the vulnerability.
Type. And like, I think with this, what separates me the most is that vulnerability. It's like, I'm willing to take it there. You know, I don't like being pestered about it, but I'm willing to show you, hey, this is what I've been through on a silver platter, almost. I'll make it look kind of beautiful. I'll make it sound cool.
I'll give you a short film too.
Yeah. Here's a short film so you visually know, hey, I got my heart broke. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
Shattered. But it's like, even with that being said, there's a lesson to learn in all of it. And those are the lessons I had to learn. And with listening and kind of making these vulnerable, really vulnerable albums and projects, it gave me the space to be quote unquote listened to, no pun intended, listened to when I felt like I had never been listened to before. So with these projects, with the film, you're getting a chance to understand me in some sense. Like, this is a story. This is what happened.
Right.
I hold myself accountable. Everything I did wrong, I put it on wax. It's like, this will forever be. But that person that did that, at that time, I'm changed.
Right.
I'm growing.
Amazing.
I'm still evolving.
Well said.
So it's like, that person that did that is still me, but it's not the me I
am today.
Exactly.
Wow, evolution. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Last question, bro. I just want to say thank you, bro, for the time.
Of course.
For people who don't know, me and LeRoy, or Roddy. Jeez, can we say that on film? Can we say it?
We can say it's a government.
For the one time. For the one time.
But
we used to play baseball with each other. What was that, like 13U? Or,
It was, I think it was like 16U.
Oh,
it was
16,
around there. I was
yeah.
15, 16. Yeah.
So it was cool. There's not a lot of black baseball players. So when we pulled up to the tournaments,
It was always love. It was always love.
So
Hey, yo, I see you from across the way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so to come back full circle is crazy, bro.
it's
amazing.
insane.
Yeah, and one of my favorite parts about the baseball community is how we were all in it together because the sport was just so hard. If you saw something wrong with my swing, like, hey, you're getting under the ball today.
Exactly.
You know?
You're dropping your shoulders.
Exactly. You still got it a little bit.
I remember everything, man.
Amazing. So I want to ask you with GFO and our movement, your advice, I don't take it lightly. So is there any cinematography advice or any improvements we can make at GFO to make our content able to compete globally?
I'd say just keep everything yourself. You know what I'm saying? Really just put yourself into everything you're doing. Like, stock footage is okay, but people would rather see what you're working on. Show off your work and be the champion of your own team. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a crew, if you have people who are supporting you, obviously appreciate them. Because I do. Like, I appreciate everyone in this room and everyone who's ever helped me.
Amazing.
And like, you have to do the same things with GFO. I mean, I see it on Instagram. You know, y'all went to a modeling event.
Yeah, that was cool.
Y'all did a whole like a little runway, and it's like it don't matter what the set is. Like, think about it. Even with Trilogy, right? Trilogy was made with 5 people.
Right. I like how you gave him a shout out though.
Oh, absolutely.
Very professional way to. I like that.
Absolutely. To me, credit is everything. And like, even though, mind you, it was made with 5 people and 3 of those people aren't film majors.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? Wow. They were just really supportive friends. And it's like, the only people who know, like truly know what we're doing is me and my director of photography, Lyle. And we made that movie with 2 ring lights, 1 camera, 1 boom mic, in a room.
Made it happen.
And it's like, so to USA, it doesn't matter what the set is.
Right.
Like, people are gonna bully you for it. That's how people are. Because it's not extravagant.
Right.
At this point, we're not selling out stadiums.
Right.
We're trying to fill a house.
Right.
You know what I mean? But people are gonna bully you on that, but they can't do it. And they're not doing it. They're just hating from a seat. And it's like, okay, then you try to do it.
Right. That argument is invalid.
Exactly.
Invalid. Yeah.
Matter of fact, you try to do it and then you do it better than I did.
Right.
You can't.
LeRoy
and it's different.
Shit,
I have to. I have to. Because there are people in this world who, when you have a dream, you have to protect it. Like, no one, when I was growing up, no one taught me to protect my dream. That's why I started to hate baseball. You know what I'm saying? No one was like, yo, people will tell you you're not going to make it. You know what I mean? So when you're making these projects, understand that you have to protect your dream. Right. You know what I'm saying? You have to protect it and fight for it, because people are going to try to diminish it. Like what we're doing now, they're going to be like, oh yeah, you're just sitting down.
Like too long.
Yeah. Y'all doing, get to the point.
Yeah,
but it's like, for people who appreciate art and appreciate beauty, they're going to sit down and look at it and be like, wow, this is great content.
Focus on your target audience.
Exactly. That's it. Because the people who are there for the quickie, or they're not there for the long term, you're going to see it. And it happens even in life. People evolve at different rates, and you're gonna shed them of your skin, basically off your skin. I mean, you're gonna shut them off. And like, so in this endeavor, I just say, protect your dream, fight for your dreams, and then execute your dreams. That's the 3 steps that I live by.
Protect, fight, execute.
That's it.
All right, guys, we just want to say thank you, LeRoy. I appreciate it, Brody. Hey, family on and off camera, bro. You know that. Thanks for inviting me. Feels very comfortable. I just want to thank everybody else in the back, too. This
appreciate
is great.
y'all.
3 cameras in the light. GFO, we're getting better. They say quality is constant improvement, and I think we're both on the mission to constantly improve.
Exactly.
So, this is Jaden signing out with GFO. LeRoy, thank you.
LeRoy's out. Appreciate you guys.